Good evening all and welcome to another video on All Hail the Ale. Tonight we're going for another beer from the Titanic Pub in a Box, and the beer in question is one of the cans. It is this one. It is Raspberry Wheat, and Raspberry Wheat is described as being fresh, light and fruity, and it weighs in at 4.7% ABV. You've got some key information on the can, as all the new can styles do. The looks are said to be it's going to be a rosé coloured beer. The smell is going to be rosy. No, it's not going to be rosy. It's going to be raspberry and fruity, and the taste is light, raspberry and fresh. We've got an IBU rating of 36, so we don't expect a huge amount of bitterness, and it's best served iceberg cold, which is exactly how I've got it. And it says also on here some key ingredients. You've got some malts are listed as Maris, Otter and Pearl Wheat, and your hops are listed as Challenger and Pacific Jade. You've also got some natural raspberry flavouring going on in here as well. So let's crack it open and find out what it tastes like. I love wheat beer. Hope it's a good one. So we're going to pour into the Stoke Festival beer glass, and the pour is golden. Got a bit left in the can, so there we are. We have a golden ale. We've got a crystal clear golden ale that looks, and the way these bubbles are coming up the glass, they're coming up really slowly, so I'm expecting a nice body to the beer. You've got a one finger white head that's pretty compact and resilient. It's sticking around for a bit. It looks good. Let's have a whiff. Oh, there's no doubt about the raspberry in that. That is a big sweet raspberry hit. Very, very obvious. Yeah, raspberry, sweet. Smells not an awful lot like beer, but a lot like raspberries. So the taste. Cheers. That's big raspberry. Not too big though. I've had some raspberry beers. There is a particular one that's available in supermarkets that's very, very heavy on the raspberry and to the point where it's overly sweet. This is not that. If you look at the Goldilocks scenario, you've got one that's too hot, one that's too cold, and one that's just right. This is just right. It's just in the middle. The thing I like, you get a little bit of the raspberry. It's stronger on the nose than it is on the taste. You get that little bit of the raspberry on the taste, and then it fades to those typical Challenger hop type profile. That little bit of bitterness that sits behind the sweet raspberry and makes for a really nice balanced profile overall. It then kind of fades into a bit of malt, and that's good. I like it. And I commented on the body and the speed that the bubbles weren't rising through the beer, and there is a good body to it. It's very, very sort of thick and heavy. It's verging on sort of porter stout territory. And that's a good thing. I like a good body to a beer. The finish, like I say, it starts sweet, goes to bitter hops, and then it sits on the nice sort of fairly flat malt profile. And when I say flat, I mean it doesn't change. It sits there just on your tongue with a little bit of bitterness at the tip, a little bit at the back, and it's just nice. You know, it's a fresh, summery beer. And I like it. Let's get the rest of that in there. I don't want to waste it. So, Raspberry Wheat from Titanic. What do I think of you? Do you fit the bill? Do you do exactly what you say on the tin? You're described as being fresh, light and fruity. I agree with that. It is fresh tasting. You've got that sweet, fresh raspberry up front. It's a fairly fruity overall profile, and it is nice and light and refreshing overall. It then goes on and says a raspberry fruity aroma. Absolutely. Straight away, it's the first thing that hits you is big, fresh, sweet, sort of pressed raspberries. Think fresh raspberries that you just shove through a sieve. That's the kind of thing that you've got going on. The only thing I would say is perhaps not quite on the ball is that it's a golden beer. There's no kind of pinkness to it at all. I don't know if that's an intentional thing to take away the pink. I don't know, but I like a beer to look like beer. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind them looking juicy and hazy and where they look good. Sometimes pink doesn't really suit me for it. It's like you see the St. Patrick's Day beers that go a bit green, and that doesn't work for me. As long as it's not put in there as a gimmick and it doesn't kill the flavour, I don't mind. So yeah, it's not pink, it's not rosé, but we're not gonna judge it on that, because that's not the point. It's what it tastes like, and it tastes good. Would I go out and buy raspberry wheat again? I would, and it's not often I'll say that about a fruity beer, because I'm not a big fan of like berry flavours in a pale type ale or a wheat beer or anything that's not really a stout. When you get a dark stout and you've got those berry flavours, yeah, I love it, it works. But you've got a nice malt profile here, and I think that's what works well with the raspberry. And you've got that subtle bitterness from the hops that sits in between the two and just gives you a really pleasant all-round sort of beer drinking experience. Would I rush out and buy it again? Herein is an important question. Would I? Would I? I'm going to say no, but that's not because it's not good. It's a very good beer. But it's only because I'm not a huge fan of raspberry flavour in a beer. But I am enjoying it. You know, on a hot summer's day, unlike what's going on out there right now, it's grey and gloomy and miserable, this would be lovely. You know, refreshing, light, fruity. Think barbecue, think outside. Think with something like a nice bit of belly pork on the barbecue, and something like this would cut through really nicely, because you've got a little bit of sharpness from the raspberry, and that would be a nice palate cleanser. So, with that in mind, I'm going to give Raspberry Wheat from Titanic Brewery 3.75 out of 5 on the old Untapped score sheet. So, and on that note, I'm going to go and drink the rest of this beer and get it uploaded for you all to hopefully enjoy. And as you all know at this point of the video, I'm going to say down there are some buttons. You know exactly what to do with them. You've got like, comment, subscribe and dislike if you like as well. I don't mind. Choose any combination of them as you wish. And I will see you soon in another video. This has been The Beer. I've been me. Bye.